much.
Okay.
He
So,
is kind of a
nothing-
self-learning fellow.
Oh, great. Yeah, I have seen him. Pranav is
So
like.
not much concern.
So in a way, Sushma, just see whether this appears all right to you. In a way, children being there all the time around you is slightly more engaging and more entertaining than they going away to school. Is it like that to you, in a way?
Actually, yes. And right now, at this scenario, I don't want him to go away from me.
Uh-huh.
Because I can have ನನ್ನ ಕಣ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಇದ್ರೆ I think he's safe ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ
Very true.
feeling.
Very true. Great. Thank you so much. That's great.
So every moment they will be learning something or the other. I mean,
Correct.
ನಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ they'll be self learning lot of things.
Super. Good. I mean, that's right. I mean, there is nothing. So none of us appear to be very concerned, right? So we'll try to add value to whatever we are doing. We'll see that. We have some educations. We'll listen to them. Abhidavare namaskara. Ashok, sorry, you wanted to say something. Ashok, do you want to say something?
No, I echo what Arun said. More or less it is the same. But only thing is that how to manage my work and engage children parallel is it's not a concern, it's actually a challenge. Because
it looks like more like a possibility. What do I do with that?
Yes.
Can I do something better out of it? I already have a car. What can I do? Where can I go with this car? Ultimately, it looks like a question. It looks like a good possibility. Let us see what we need to do with that.
Yes. I'm not concerned really. It's no concern.
None of us are concerned. That's a very good thing. Great, yeah. Abhidavare namaskara. Nanu gottaitu
Maybe the people, Jagdish, people who are concerned they have not come to this call.
Oh,
they are very much concerned. They thought that they were so much concerned they couldn't attend this call.
We don't know. Okay. Abhidavare namaskara. ನೀವು ಏನಾರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಭಿದವ್ರೆ?
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. He has joined from Belgaum. Belgaum ಅಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಇರೋದು?
Yes sir, I have joined from Bagalkot district.
Bagalkot district. Please let me know and how big are your children? Rest of the people I know most of them. How old are your children and do you have any concerns? That too in slightly smaller town like Bagalkot.
So especially regarding this online classes, when these discussions are going on.
Okay.
And government has issued some guidelines.
True.
And schools are doing something. In this, what government has done regarding up to 7th standard, I thought up to 5th standard was okay.
Okay.
From 6th standard to higher education, up to we should have used that online classes.
Okay.
That is my point.
How old are your children? How old are your children?
My children are just in LKG.
Oh, so absolutely easy. Okay.
And I am not worried about the online classes. I have told that let she be happy up to the lockdown over. After this over, she enjoy with her parents, grandparents.
Oh, super! Great. Then, thank you so much for sharing. We have people who are involved in schools directly. We have 4 such people. Shobha ಅವರು ಏನು ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಸಿದ್ರೆ ಶೋಭಾ ಅವರೇ, you also share. We have 4 people. You can see Ashwini there, who is also involved in schooling. Rajkumar actually heads a school, and Shankar himself is the managing director of a school which is going to expand now. He was about to expand that into another school. Because of COVID, he had to stop. Now, how do schools look like? Probably we have some more time. We'll have some exchanges from them. I want you to understand this in order for me to develop a conversation which I will be getting into now. So let's listen to educationists as to what they feel, what are their concerns, what is their question, as openly and as sincerely as possible. And you mute yourself, those of you who are there. Mute ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಿ. Anybody amongst Rajkumar, Shankar, Ashwini, anybody would like to share?
Yes, sir.
Rajkumar.
One point is like how take the learning happen. There's a gap. How to do it. Well, we are parents are also asking the same. Ours is only till grade 5. Online is stopped now. So how to make children engage.
Mm.
Why engage? Because otherwise, from school's perspective, they don't pay fees.
Mm.
We don't engage them, they don't pay fees, and it indirectly affects the salaries of the workers, like teachers.
Mm.
That is a concern which we are facing. For
Okay.
example, we cannot stop paying the teachers. We
Mm.
have to pay. And some of the parents who has expressed like so many years, you have made so much of profit. Why not? We can pay from that.
Yeah,
That is
can you
a
say that
thing
in
which,
Kannada? How do they say that?
ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಲಕ್ಷ ಗಟ್ಟಲೆ ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಕೋಟಿ ಗಟ್ಟಲೆ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಈ ಕೊಡಕ್ಕೇನು ಅಂತ.
I think more than the parents, teachers have a concern. I feel here. Okay. Sorry, again stuck.
Teachers also say ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಏನು ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. These are the concerns which are pressing. But look at that. Few things which have emerged is one is no, I'm not talking about big schools who have invested for like 100 crores, 50 crores, like 1 or 2 crores, 3 crores. Those schools will at least take 10 years or 15 years of this thing to break even.
Yeah.
For them, definitely it is a concern. It is not like they make huge profits. If the fees is around 20-25,000, it minimum takes 10 years for them to break even. That is one point. So management will definitely not pay. That is first. Second one is teachers might leave. If they might stay back, and teachers might leave next year, or they might look for some other better options, or they might change their professions. That is second. It indirectly affects the parents. For example, it takes lots of time to build a team. Once the team is broken or the good teachers start leaving the school, then definitely it is going to affect the children.
Yeah. Got you, Rajkumar. Your audio was slightly challenging, but I got you. Your audio was slightly challenging, but I think most of us got what you're saying. So I think the first concern that we have got is not from the parents. The first concern is from the person who runs the school. Shankar, would you like to say something before I proceed? Shankar, Ashwini?
Yes, sir. Can you hear?
Yeah, very clear.
Yeah, I want to add 2 points here. The one point for children, since 14 years, I'm a teacher, and I used to meet a lot of parents. All these 14 years, parents had a concern only about study.
Okay.
And they used to teach us
Okay.
how to make their children IAS officer or engineers or XYZ. And I used to feel very uncomfortable. I used to tell them something more than that, something also is there. Please allow children to do something else.
Yeah.
Free them, let them play, let them enjoy, let them be art activities or some other things. And they used to oppose like anything. All 14 years. I have seen this. And suddenly, last 3 months, has changed them everything. It has changed completely. Nobody is talking about engineers or doctors or anything. Just they want their child should be safe at home.
Okay.
The 14 years or maybe more than years, whole 3 months has changed.
Okay.
This is one point I want to add here.
So it
As
is
a parent, yeah.
All the time,
This
all
is
the
one
time,
point.
one of the things was that you wanted children to do that. Yeah, got
Something
that.
else. But
Yeah.
they are not allowed. Now they're looking at different options as a parents. And I'm looking at this one now. And another point from the management angle, like what Rajkumar said already, it's same with every school. And people who have already lot of money, they can do something else for the staff and others. And people who don't have, they are really struggling. I have many friends who are not getting salary itself as a teachers. And they are facing a lot of problem. And they are dependent on children fees only directly.
Okay.
And they need a fees means they need an engagement. The engagement, that is also positive engagement is required. And child should be engaged well, and also they should grow. And then school will get some benefit, some fees. It's all struggling. It's all struggling happening, especially in the school, I feel.
Okay.
And there is other things are there. Other things like a government has a lot of imposition on school. Now things like you look at doctor, look at advocates, any real estate, that in absolute there is no nothing else.
Okay.
But come to the school, lot of rules, lot of regulation. Every day new things are coming. Even we are not aware and updated completely. from the
Got you, Shekhar.
government.
I think your voice is breaking now.
That situation.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now it is clear. Your voice.
Okay, I want to things quickly.
Okay.
I want to share both the angles.
Okay.
Okay, for parents, I feel actually as a parent, many of them are feeling that what will happen now? What about the classes? And mainly, many of them are concerned about syllabus. Suppose if we start little late, whether these teachers are able to complete the syllabus. When my child goes to 6th standard, is there any link between 5th and 6th? Will he miss something in between? That will affect in future. So that is one thing. And many parents are thinking, how can they really justify doing online classes? How much can they teach through online classes? And also they have questions saying, are they only doing it for collecting fees?
Okay.
These are the questions from parent side. And in the school, actually, I work as a head of value and character development in one of the schools here. So what we are facing right now is all our teachers are prepared to take classes. Right now, they have their lesson plans ready, creative activities ready for online and everything. But if they are all ready, but then again, as Rajkumar shared and Shankar shared, suppose if parents are not ready to pay the fees for this year because we are not teaching, and one of the parent directly asked me, we pay tuition fee when you are not teaching, why should I pay? So where they fail to understand is it is a community enterprise. You cannot look at as my child, if you teach, I'll pay, otherwise I don't pay for this year. And next year I'll come again and join. But then that school should be there to join. To that school to exist, it is a community responsibility.
Okay.
So these are the two angles.
Okay, great. I think wonderful sharing by all of you. I think it added a lot of value to the whole conversation. Now, what I'm going to do is that because I am supposed to moderate the whole discussion, I will talk for the next, I think 15-20 minutes. Hopefully less than that, but 15-20 minutes. Yeah, Vijay? Yeah.
Just Ashwini was telling,
Yeah.
that is a very valid point. Like if parents, none of the parents pay fee, then how can the teachers, because they also have their own family, everything, how can they survive?
Yeah.
Then school, what I have one input for the school is, like they cannot collect full fee if parents doesn't
Correct. So
send
Vijay,
a to
okay.
the teachers, they have their own, family, everything, so they can collect, certain percentage of the total fee.
Okay.
This is a point I am adding, value adding to Ashwini.
Perfect. Great. I think you added quite a valid point. Great then. Thank you once again for all your inputs. It would require all your attention because to listen continuously for 15 minutes should be slightly challenging. So next 15 minutes, I'll converse with you as to what can be really caused in your own ambience of home for learning to happen. It is a very simple process. Learning is an extraordinarily simple process. Now, when I say learning, there are two aspects of learning. One is none of us are concerned about innate aspects of learning. Just as animals are, all human beings are also animals. We have our own innate ability to learn certain things. We know how to eat. We know how to sleep. We know how to take care of our dressing so that we don't appear inappropriate. All these are innate. I think there are a lot of social agreements that we all see, which innately we acquire as children by the society we live in. Now, when we look at schooling, we don't look at these innate aspects of learning. What we look at is the non-innate aspects of learning. And what is this non-innate aspect of learning? Let's understand. It is like I have 1,000 ways by which I can travel from Bangalore to Delhi. I can walk, I can take a bike, I can cycle it, I can take a bullock cart, I can go by train, I can take several buses, make a third journey, or I can take a flight. Now, what the schools are supposed to do, schools are supposed to shop. 1 minute, huh? Somebody has joined in? Yeah. Has somebody joined now, newly? Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know. What schools do is that schools directly make the shortest possible route between where the child is and what is non-innate learning. For instance, if you have to learn calculus, if you have to learn about digestive system, if you have to learn about quantum mechanics or linear equations, there is a particular mechanism which schools adopt which fastens the process. So when we are looking at learning, we are going to look at learning as innate and non-innate. From that, we are going to look at these two fundamental questions of life. Whether school or no school, whether you are an adult or a child, whether you are married or unmarried, young or old, the fundamental two questions that is a substratum of all human existence are these two. What are those fundamental two questions? Doing what we know how to do. Am I too loud? Are you able to hear me? Yeah. The first fundamental question is doing what you know to do. The corollary of it is how can you be better and be more efficient in what you know how to do. For instance, most of us know how to drive a car. Most of us can ride a two-wheeler. Most of us know how to cook. Sorry, I don't know how to cook. Yeah, I think most of us know some of these general things. So there are certain things which we know how to do. That is a fundamental question. Means, how will I improve whatever I know how to do? The second fundamental question is figuring out what you are not sure of. Second fundamental question is this. Figuring out what I don't know how to resolve. I don't know, for instance, probably for this meeting itself, I want 100 people to attend this meeting. I really don't know how to have 100 people being here. Should I do Facebook marketing? Should I do YouTube marketing? I really don't know how to create that kind of advertising or PR campaign. I really don't know how to do that. So these two fundamental questions of how will I continue to do what I know to do and also improve it, and how to figure out what I'm not sure how I am going to do. This what I'm not sure how to do certain things are the only two questions that we face in human lives. This is the only two questions. So if you break that, how will I make myself more efficient and how will I be free? How can I be free? How can I be much faster? How can I be much quicker? All of us want money. All of us want to make our better business. Our property should be good. Efficiency is about how can I make the process as short as possible. I want my child to learn calculus. I want my child to learn mathematics. How can I make it as fast as possible? The question of efficiency and the question of freedom. If you look closely at these two questions actually boil down to the question of efficiency, question of freedom. Now, as parents, with our children, whether you are concerned or not concerned, it is imperative on our part to look at these questions with a little bit more of penetration and depth. That's what is the invitation here. Now, I'm going to evolve this conversation for next 2-3 minutes with an aspect called as the self-sufficiency of intention. Now, what is intention? Intention is not a simple statement, but a point where no further inquiry is either possible or needed. I'll repeat it. I'm actually speaking about the self-sufficiency of intention. And what is intention? Intention isn't a simple statement like a target or a goal. What I mean by the word intention is a point where further inquiry is neither possible nor needed. Now, means by being clearly intentional, you in fact include all the questions of human life. By being clearly intentional, you in fact include all the questions of human life. Let us look at it with some amount of interaction. Now, can any of you parents here volunteer to converse with me? And the question is simple. Is there any topic, any subject where you find your child struggling a little bit, or you find it challenging in making the child understand or anything? Any such subject exists or topic exists for you?
Basically, maths.
Huh?
Maths subject.
Okay. She's in which class now, Vijay? I know, but for the benefit of others.
She's going to attend 6th standard.
She is going to 6th standard. So math appears to be challenging as a subject for Aditi.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, when you say that, what makes you think that math is a challenging subject for Aditi?
Like where the foundation is lacking. There's no strong foundation. Yeah.
Okay. When you say foundation, means she finds it difficult with addition, subtraction, fractions, factorization.
Yeah. Even in school they fail to teach mental maths to children.
Okay.
And
they fail to teach
so
mental
many
math, or they taught mental math.
No, they fail to teach.
Fail to teach mental math. Okay. So appears to be not so comfortable with mathematics, right?
Yes.
Without going into the further questions, why do you want Aditi to learn math?
No, it is not just maths. All subjects we want her to learn. Just we are focusing on where she is lacking, on which subject she is.
So let us take math only. Why do you want her to learn math? The way she is doing, let her do. I mean, why should you bother that she is not doing well in math?
Please believe, maths is the one which gives, it's a mother of science, we call it.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever you opt for in the future, whether you become a chartered accountant or anything.
Okay.
So maths is something very much required.
Okay.
You need to be strong at it.
So your intention is that she becomes comfortable in mathematics so that she become a chartered accountant, a scientist, or explores science.
Anything. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, we don't want our child, somewhere lack in any aspects.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
we equally, we equally put her into social studies, English, Kannada, grammars, everything.
Okay.
She enjoys all, but she's not enjoying in maths.
Okay. So here you expressed it in a very simple intention that I want her to be good in math because I want her to be good in all other subjects. Now, if you go deeper into that, probably what you will observe is that suppose you take a topic like digestive system, or you take a topic like evolution or reproduction, asexual reproduction, any topic. These are the topics that generally we see children learning, or topic like Mughals, or topic like our past, or something like that. It could be. Some of these topics could be. Now, when you explore this into a question, if you further ask, why do you want your children to learn digestive system, you'll get an answer. Maybe you will get an answer like, it is in the syllabus. It is in the syllabus. Further question could be, why do you want to learn it because it is in the syllabus? Probably answer could be that, I want them to learn so that they are, they take care of their digestive system better. Further question could be, why do you want to really take care of their digestive system also? What I'm trying to say here is that when you go layer by layer into deeper and deeper question of whatever your children is learning or whatever you want to cause your children to be learning, this is where you actually reach the finality of intention. Any topic is sufficiently good enough to cover all aspects of human life. It could be inquiry, it could be understanding what is health, everything can be covered. Now, the most important thing is here to understand that as parents, one of the things that we could do in these situations is that exploring intention itself. The very intention on which the very intention on which learning is based. I hope I'm making sense, or I'm becoming too abstract, I'm not sure. What I'm trying to say here is simple. Intention itself is sufficient. Maybe we want to teach our digestive system because we want our children to be healthy. We want our children to make critical choices about the kind of things the child should eat or not eat. Should be able to debate with what is available in the market, what is not available in the market. Should they comfortably go with whatever is actually visible in the advertisement? Probably that is an intention that you have. So one of the most important things is the two fundamental questions is, what do I know how to do? How do I make it faster and more efficient? What is that I'm still figuring out about life? These two questions is something that pertains to our children's learning also. Here, if you look at any topic, Suppose you take the digestive system. We know certain things about it. We know that this has to be covered. Children should be able to answer questions related to the digestive system and all. These are all questions that we know. What we can figure out is what is the intention of teaching digestive system itself. Why are we teaching digestive system? So, making the whole conversation coupled by these two conversations could expand a lot of things for what can be ideal learning for your children. So this is number one. Now, second aspect is about what is being psychologically available for anything in life. One of the most popular statements, which I remember conversing with Ravi Shankar also, who is also here, recently when we had a conversation, which we keep having multiple conversations, we were discussing some aspects of spirituality. We were discussing it. Now, one of the things that actually we entered in the discussion was this. What is the preparedness that we need to have in order to do anything? For instance, in order to take a CET examination, we need to prepare ourselves for the CET examination. In order to take a unit test of a particular topic, we should be prepared for that. So being prepared for something, what is that we are getting prepared for that? What is that preparedness we are doing? Now, this is a famous statement that comes in Bhagavad Gita also, and it is quite popular in Vishnu Sahasranama and all. The statement goes like this. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha. It goes like this. Dhanurdharaha means an archer. Somebody who is holding a bow and who is, ready to shoot. Somebody who is absolutely ready to shoot. And Yogeshwara is somebody who knows what life is completely. Now, you are completely ready with your bow and arrow is one. When you are completely ready with the bow and arrow, you are not very sure whether you will get a chance to shoot the arrow or not, but you are ready. Now, what is human life about? Human life is nothing but being ready for everything. And what do I mean by being ready? It is for preparedness for life itself. 1 minute, I am getting a call. Who is this? Yeah. So, prepared for life itself. Prepared for life means what? It is about creating a psychological opportunity to serve. Now, here probably we need to explore the word happiness. Now, for instance, how will we make an objective difference in our lives? When I say an objective difference in my health, an objective difference in my wealth, objective difference in my career, how do I make an objective difference? If you look at it, our objective difference is made by our understanding, by working harder and harder. For instance, if I have not done well in mathematics, one of the best ways to do well in mathematics is to prepare harder and harder so that I can do well in mathematics. That is a general understanding we have, which is right also. But there is another angle which we can look into. To make an objective difference in yourself, the only way it can happen is by your psychological preparedness to serve. And what do I mean by psychological preparedness to serve? To be available. We are also not sure whether how useful I am or how useful this session has been. But you are prepared to be able to contribute, to be able to serve wherever it's possible. As parents, the most important question probably that you would be exhibiting is to be absolutely prepared, to be in a state of dhanurdhara, to be in a state of archery, ready to shoot, absolutely prepared to serve. To absolutely prepared to serve will happen in the form of being happy. Now, in one of our sessions before that we had, the fundamental question that all children face is the question of happiness. Just like we may know about climate change, we may know about glacier getting melted and all, but that is not our question. Our question is precisely dealing with our lives. Our lives is about our income. Our lives is about running our family. Our life is about taking care of our health, things like that. So we only look at those things. We only deal with those things which are real for us. We may appreciate unreal things like glacial melting or global warming and all, or environmental degradation. But we deal with only those things which are real for us. Now, what is the real question for children? Just as we have real questions, the only question that is real for children is the question of happiness. Now, happiness is something that can be explored in this environment of what can be looking like uncertainty. How we can prepare ourselves to be ready. This is number 2. I think I'm talking too much, but you have to excuse me. Another 7 minutes. After that, we'll have some exchange. The next point is, what are the skills that we need to have and what is concepts? Probably most of us know there is a difference between skills and concepts. Concepts are important in life. Skills are also important in life. Skills are those which can be exhibited. Concepts are not, skills are those which can only be exhibited. Concepts are those which can be quoted. To make it simple, there are 2 kinds of memory. One is called implicit, another is called explicit. Suppose somebody asks me, how do you swim? I can only exhibit how I swim. I cannot explain how I swim. It is implicit. It is a skill. Similarly, if somebody asks me to quote Newton law or recite a poem of my favorite poem, I can simply quote it. This is explicit. Explicit, something that can be spoken out, something that can be expressed. Whereas implicit is not something that is spoken. Now, we need to look at this important thing. In school, in the education system, there are skills that are developed and there are concepts that are evolved. We will look at that little bit of examples here. What are the skills that we develop in school? We develop the skill of reading. We develop the skill of writing. We also develop the skill of communication. These are all generic skills that we develop. Apart from some specific skills also that we may develop in children. For instance, using the protractor, using all these instruments, geometry box instruments, all these things are instruments that we get to understand in the school. We learn all those things. What are the concepts that we get to know? We start understanding about racism, about caste system, about identity, about how do I make sense of the external world? How do I make sense of the processes? So there are 2 important things here, skills and concepts. Skills is something I'll come to in a while. Again, short, it will not be very long. What are the concepts that get covered in school? Any school or any learning process. You can divide it into several. Now, there are scholastic concepts which come. There are concepts that are related to identity. Which is your country? Where have you come from? Things like that. Second is the concept of the platform on which life is happening. Probably we learn about geography, resources, and things like that. We also make sense of the world of agreement, like civics and things like that. What is our world like? What are the rules we follow? The constitution, things like that. Then we try to make sense of the phenomena. We conceptualize phenomena. Why does gravity happen? Why is there optical illusion? Or so many other things we look into. So there is a coverage related to concepts, phenomena. We look into phenomena. We also examine constituents. What constituents the earth? Like what are the chemicals in it? What are the constituents of it? How do you classify the world itself? So constituents. And last one is the process. We try to understand processes. How does photosynthesis happen? How does reproduction happen? How does digestion happen? Respiration, how does it happen? How does a plant grow? How does a human organism grow? So if you look at it, there are 6 important questions that are covered in the form of concepts. Identity, platform of life, the general agreements in our society, phenomena, constituents, and process. Now, as parents, one of the things that we can start looking at is very closely, going back to this fundamental question, going closely, have we really examined these things as closely as possible? So this could be one of the important things that can be established for ourselves as parents. Which means what? The art of learning conversations. Parenting or creating extraordinary learning is nothing but the art of learning extraordinary conversations. An extraordinary conversation is one where the conversation doesn't conclude. It just opens up another possibility. So this conversation can be taken to the next level. Some of you would know improv theater. Danish said is very popular. YouTube, lot of improv theaters are there. What happens in improv theater? A topic is given by the audience and two characters come there and they start conversing impromptu and they go on conversing and they create a theater and drama out of some topic given there. This is precisely how education also happens. A child throws something and you engage in a conversation. And what stops the conversation is our own conceptualization about morality, about discipline, about what is good and bad, about what is right and wrong. To be free from all this conceptualization is the only way by which we engage. So, forget schools, for all those things you look into. As parents, you have to deal with this question of figuring out and question of how am I going to do whatever I know how to do better. All these questions are there. But the fundamental thing is figuring out an ability amongst ourselves to converse inconclusively. By doing that, both these things get converged. Skills and concepts get converged. Probably I'll allow for more questions later on. So we have looked at these three fundamental things. Number one is the two fundamental questions, the psychological availability to serve, and third one, differentiating between skills and concepts. Last one, before I stop and allow you to converse with me. Last one is about how do we differentiate between responsibility and discipline? What is discipline? What is responsibility? Generally speaking, from the notions that we have all acquired from our parents and all, discipline is something that is used generally, but a word that is not explored much. For instance, most of us who are of my generation, most of us belong to that generation except a few of you who are at least a decade younger than me. Most of us, when we were sitting in schools, discipline was considered something like not talking to each other. How many of you experienced this? Not talking. If you talk in the class, there will be a monitor who will write the name on the board. I mean, we took it so seriously as children and we took it that is really serious. Not talking is important. And only later we realized how stupid we were to follow that rule. And only when we became adults, we started sensing how stupid that rule was. Our discipline was understood as something like, something like that. We should not, counter talk with the elders or something like that. We should complete our homework, things like that. Whereas discipline is a natural process of life. It is a natural process and it happens because we have an inherent interest in life. When we don't have an inherent interest in life, we start looking at life from another angle where we want to seize life. Probably we want to take drugs, we want to smoke, we want to take alcohol because we don't have interest in life. We want to block life. If we drink, I'm just taking very gross examples. Why do people drink alcohol? Because they want to forget something. They want to resist life. Somebody who is inherently interested in life, who is available, who is absolutely ready for all the things in life, that person will never become indisciplined. There is no question of asking him not to smoke. Somebody who is inherently interested in life will never be indisciplined. They will be disciplined. Second is, somebody who doesn't recognize the other also is me. That generates conflict. If I think Arun is different from me, or Shankar is different from me, of course, I don't think Ashwini is different from me. If I think like that, it generates conflict. And most of our indiscipline also appeared in the form of conflict, where we stole certain things, we beat our neighbors, and things like that. And third one is abuse of physical objects. Abuse of physical objects could be addiction to mobile phone, addiction to a lot of things. Means what? We just don't know. Oh, okay, Rajkumar, thank you so much. You have messaged me privately. You need to go to school. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So this is what looks like indiscipline. Now, creating discipline, which means creating inherent interest in life and expanding interest in life, expanding the meaning of life, starting to look at what are conflicting situations that we experience in life. Like, I want the school to run, but at the same time, my income itself has suffered. And they are not teaching me. How do I contribute there? establishing conversation with the school or establishing conversation with others, which appears like conflicting. That is a great way of showing how it happens. And third one is to start looking at what are the things that are getting abused in our circumstances. Maybe TV is getting overused, or I'm abusing my body itself. I'm not doing yoga, I'm not doing pranayama and all. What we respect, we don't abuse. I may sometimes start playing like this. I don't know whether you are able to see. I may start playing like this with a comb. This is a comb actually. But I will never play with my spectacles like that, because spectacle is something that I value a lot. Now, moment you are disciplined, you are responsible. Moment you are responsible, you are disciplined. So looking at this coupled aspect of responsibility and discipline is another thing that we could explore. How to do it is a question that we may not be able to explore right away. All that we are trying to look at here are 4 important aspects. The 2 fundamental questions of life, and creating psychological opportunity and availability to serve. That's the second. Third one is differentiating between skills and concept. Fourth one is differentiating and also seeing the interrelationship between responsibility and discipline. Final, last statement before I stop. The only responsibility we have as human beings is to generate happiness. Generating happiness is to keep on generating ourselves again and again, again and again. Something is not working well for us, regenerating ourselves. So these are the 4 things. And as some of you mentioned, and as I also actually commented, more than this situation appearing like a question for parents, it appears like more like a question for the relevance of institutions. Whether schools are really necessary. Is online teaching a good method of teaching? This has become a thing, which comes to the point that school has always been a sociological phenomenon. School is not designed to cause everything that you call as learning. School is not designed for that. In fact, child's learning, child's attitude, child's skills, and everything, is entirely our responsibility. So the cognitive functions of the child, how the child thinks, how we want the child to do, all these things are our responsibility. So this is where I'm going to stop. I think I spoke for around 20-25 minutes continuously. I would invite some of you to comment or question or anything specific that we need to address, I think. Yeah? Done. I'm done. I think I did most part of the conversation, and probably I'll conclude it with a final few comments when I come to it, when I come to the conclusion.
Okay, to make this conversation little more specific and available to everybody.
Ashwini, you have to hold your mic a little bit closer to, I think. Audibility is a question.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
To make all this conversation more, little more specific, to have some takeaways, I would like to ask a question. Maybe it will benefit all of us. What should we expect from a school?
Unmute, English. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿ ವಿಜಯ್, ನೀವು ಹೇಳಕ್ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ.
Okay. Any other question? One is that what to expect from the school? Or I will ask, if you get more questions, you will question me?
Yeah. Shiva here.
Yeah, Shiva.
I rightly agree with your points as well as the recent question asked, like what is the why the school are there. At the same time, I also would like to understand, you mentioned responsibility and discipline. What is our responsibility in this entire scope of education we are intended? So what is our scope and what is school is for?
Okay, our scope and school, what school is supposed to. Okay, great. So I think I'll take these two. let's begin with this question. What is a school meant for? You look at any institution in society, it could be hospitals, it could be our education system, it could be the legal system, it could be police. What is any institution meant for? Any institution is meant for certain purposes. We know that somebody has to take care of the law and order, somebody has to take care of health, somebody has to take care of sickness, somebody has to take care of resolving differences. Like that, institutions have been made. Now, actually, if you look at it, none of these institutions by itself will not be able to cause any of these things. Police by themselves will not be able to cause this law and order. Lawyers by themselves will not be able to clear these differences. Hospitals by themselves will not be able to, create wellness in society. Similarly, schools by themselves are also incapable of causing learning and education. Very clear for us. Now, as you looked at it, it is like a community learning enterprise. School is actually an easily available platform where the society provides a platform where the community converges to look at the common questions of humanity. One of the common questions of humanity here is, in what way are we responsible for our children? This question is not something that applies to any other species. This is a question. So, in general, what we need to expect from schools is that the easiest way of providing a sociological environment and social ambience for our children. Even if you do homeschooling, we probably will have to work hard in providing a social environment, a social ambience for our kids. Not just in the evening games or morning games. So one of the things that we expect from schools is an extraordinary ambience of society. That is that. From this, all expectations emanate. How should learning be caused? Whenever learning is getting caused, we want our children to learn. Schools also face questions. How do I accelerate learning? That's where punishment happens, abuse of children happens. We can expect schools to become mature to respond to the global requirements of humanity rather than focusing itself to the local requirements of syllabus. We can expect that. Now, from that also, coming to this scenario itself, online or offline, any kind of social engagement that is available for us is good enough for our children. So what you can expect from the school is always limited by society. If society has a problem of corona, school also will have a problem of corona. If society is limited by riots and disturbances, school will be limited by that. So you can expect the school to perform its best in whatever available limitations that society has imposed on the school, right? For example, many of us are not satisfied with the schools which focus only on question and answers and preparing children for exams. So that is not the school's limitation. That is a limitation that is imposed on by the society on school. So what we can expect the school is to be very creative and look at, Ashwini in mute protocol. Look at creatively engaging with these limitations. Probably that itself answers, Shiva, your question also. Your scope is far bigger than the school scope. As parents, we actually provide the space where everything happens. It is like, school is like a market. You go to the market, you buy vegetables, you buy grocery, you buy milk, you buy furniture, you buy everything. You buy everything from there. It is like society. Moment you bring it home, you need to properly organize it and put it in proper places. So you are the house, you are the home into which all these grocery and other things are categorized and sorted out. You are the space in which everything the child is experiencing both in society and school is actually getting consolidated. And that consolidation happens by you being in freedom, by you being in happiness. Only way is providing a platform is you not to be dissatisfied in everything in life. Okay, it's a big statement. It's a big statement. So next best possibility is what? We all have dissatisfactions. Becoming aware of our dissatisfactions, making that into our goal. The second question, how do we figure out to create that? we have missed out a lot of things. Starting as parents, starting to work on those things which we have missed in our lives. For example, we wanted to do PhD, looking at PhD again. If that is a question, you wanted to go for a European trip with your family, working towards that. These are the questions that parents have to do. Means what? All that parents have to do is parents should take responsibility for their lives. By taking the responsibility for their lives in terms of income, property generation, their sadhana, and all these things, you create a space where learning happens. And that is where, however the school is, however the society is, children will gather whatever is important for them to be gathered. And it involves conversation with children also. So this is a scope. I think, I don't know whether I answered or not, or I'm too big in answer, I'm not sure. ತುಂಬ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಏನಾರು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಟೂ ಮಚ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಯೂಮೈಸ್ಡ್. ಯಾ, any other you have any questions?
Yeah, Shiva here.
Yeah, Shiva.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you raised so many things. It's like a Pandora box, no, opened up.
Yeah.
So you just wanted to have this session and then see what can be learned. But at the same time, there are so many questions opened up. And it appears to me right now is, yes, we all these days we have outsourced this process of education to school. And just like we are sedated. We are like no anesthesia, sedated, waiting something to happen. And big expectations. But we don't really execute our responsibility or maintain our discipline or our scope. There's so many things which we should have done right, or we should have done at least on time. But we had a lot of expectation from school since we have outsourced paying some money.
Correct.
I think these extreme times of Corona, I think there is more to introspect ourselves and chart out like what could be the natural way of living, what could be the natural way of response.
Wonderful.
For as you mentioned, there are certain things with skills and concepts. What's concept we must know, we must understand instead of getting caught in the situation future.
Correct.
And what skills I should know, like to lead my life every day, lead a very probable situations. So those things because for example, if a kid doesn't know how to carry a glass of water without spilling, and you're always cautious, no, you will spill it, and you try to help them out.
Correct.
And how to feed them without spilling the food on the table or the cloth. Those things we think it's very insignificant. But I feel as a parents, we need to seriously sit down and then understand, as you mentioned, what are the concepts which are very seriously considered, and what are the skills which are really required, instead of something which is unrealistic, something happening in Alps mountains or deep in the ocean and trying to teach them oceanography or something.
I got you.
Certain basic things is very important.
Yeah.
And as Vijay also earlier mentioned, some mental mathematics, like if somebody gives a 2,000 rupees, and then kids should be able to know like how much I should get in return, or how much. So very basic things, if they understand, and they can survive, at least can survive without stress.
Wonderful.
So I feel we have to introspect a lot.
Correct. I think this is a good point, Shiva, what you mentioned. Both in the outsourced aspect of where learning and teaching and learning is happening, and also in our own lives, what we call as teaching, what we call as parenting is nothing but the continuation of our own conditions, unexplored conditioning. We have all been conditioned to believe in certain things. We have always been conditioned to understand certain things, that it is nothing but a momentum of this unexplored conditioning. This conditioning is a continuum. It continues, that's all. And all these opportunities is like putting a stop on this unexplored conditioning and exploring this condition itself. Yeah. In a way,
I wanted to share few things.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
You better hold that here. We can hear, but it will be much better if you hold it. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I really appreciate a few points shared by Shiv Kumar sir. I don't know him. I think I don't know.
He's in Art of Living. He's quite familiar. He comes there.
Okay. Okay. No, that one is like outsourcing and waiting for something to happen. You have outsourced it and you're waiting for something to happen. nothing can happen there actually unless we take the responsibility. But one thing which I wanted to share was maybe when our children grow up, if they are in like fourth, fifth standard or eighth standard, what they are learning right now, maybe maths, physics, chemistry, is of very less relevance. And what is more relevant now is, what is more valued is your ability to learn new things. That is called learnability. So can you unlearn and relearn? See, when you go to the next, maybe after next 10 years, the same jobs doesn't exist, what we are seeing now. Many of the jobs would have gone. And you are preparing, school is preparing your children for the jobs that never exist now. We are preparing, teaching them maths, physics, chemistry that may never exist. But are we teaching them to unlearn and relearn? Are they flexible? Do they have that neuroplasticity? Everybody has that. So do we have that opportunity for the children to actually not be rigid to the things they have learned? Or can they unlearn and relearn again? That matters a lot, I think.
Perfect. I think that's wonderful. Wonderful. So we have 6 minutes more. We'll exactly end by 12. Any more questions and comments or anything? I think a lot of you added more value than what I could add in 20 minutes of conversation, because reflection is more important. I think that's right. Both of you.
And also many of you have experienced that the exams have cancelled or it is postponed now for 10th, 11th, 12th, and they don't know actually what to do after this. It is a sudden thing which has happened to all of us. So even in the future, it may be like what you are preparing yourself or your children right now may not be relevant in the future.
Yeah. You know, I remember when my daughter Sharmada was 9 months old, we were traveling from Delhi, and we had booked this AC compartment. I did not sleep the whole night. You know, it used to be 2 nights journey that time. I did not sleep both the nights. Absolutely concerned that, you know, something will happen to the baby. She may catch a cold, she may catch a cough and all. Now I realize that the trouble that I took those 2 nights was totally unnecessary. I think that applies to most of our life situations. I think, you know, the amount of trouble we take in preparing ourselves to deal with life is absolutely not necessary. Probably that's the thing. I think so. The only necessity right now is to explore the question of happiness and the human condition. I think. I mean, big words, but yeah, this is where I would say that. Yeah, we'll give ourselves some silence time. Also, nothing to worry, unless somebody wants to say. Ravi Shankar, you want to express something? ಅಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಬಿಡಿ ಸುಷ್ಮಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ ರವಿ is here ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ
yes no I just am listening to
yeah
there are a lot of things, but I think what Ashwini said in the last
ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಸುಷ್ಮನ್ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ನೀನು ಓಡಾಡೋದು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಗುಡ್ ಗೋ ಅಹೆಡ್
ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅದರಿಂದ
ಹೌದಾ ಮಾಡು ಹೇಳು
okay give me a second okay
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ರವಿ
ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆನ್ okay
ಇಲ್ಲ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ನಿನ್ನ ಇಷ್ಟ ಹೇಳು
ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ವಾ okay fine okay ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಬೇಡ
okay Ravi Shankar is 1 year younger to me. Arun, you should know he has more I think at least as many white hair as me. Ravi Shankar ondsati mukha torsbidu.
Okay, I thought you were going to say that, you know, he's more intelligent than me, but then you suddenly changed it back.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Thank you. So what I was going to say was, you know, in the final minutes, what Ashwini said about learnability, I think that is the only constant, I believe, you know, in all. And, you know, what you explore, like, you know, a real teacher explores, you know, through the real way of, you know, what is life all about, you know, it may kind of percolate down to our situation and the current situation, but the current situation unfolds itself into the eternity also. So what it means is, what we are talking about our children is absolutely true about all the children in the world. So we have to
Very beautiful.
look at this opportunity as also an opportunity to think about the children who are suffering in, say, Syria or Afghanistan or anywhere in the world. People dying all over the world, etc. So I think if we can extrapolate this and extrapolate our understanding, being in the local, in the now, to the eternity, and what actually happens in ourselves with our children to the entirety of the humanity. I think that is very important. And if we can take that responsibility, then I will believe our children will obviously be better human beings if we take that responsibility. Like Shini also said that we cannot outsource learning to schools, and we have to take the responsibility onto ourselves. Similarly, if we can take the responsibility of feeling the humanity inside ourselves, the wholeness is in is what is all. Actually, yesterday we were also speaking about all the other things about the implicate order. And basically this is it. If we can feel the humanity in ourselves, then the humanity is what we feel all the time, even in our localized action. So I don't want to make it more abstract, but our children's education, our children's condition now, let us, to me, we should not limit to this 3 months or these specific condition of this pandemic. I think we need to keep exploring, at a much deeper level.
It's not at all abstract. For me, at least, it is very concrete. What you spoke about, our concerns actually extending into the ultimate eternal question of humanity itself since the beginning of time. I think it's a wonderful point. I think I will explore this further. This is a wonderful point for me.
Thank you.
Super, Ravi. Sakada helade neenu.
It was wonderful, Jiggy.
Alla extra time kodbitre neenu goal avudbitte ade problem nidda. You made a goal in extra time. Good, yeah. Super. It was wonderful, Ravi. Neenu heliddu sakat maja bantu namage. At least nanige sakada ಆಗಿತ್ತು. Okay, we are 12 now, 12 p.m. I think the time is also important. We respect the time. Any final comments anybody wants to do? Last 1 minute.
Just one more thing. I think I'm speaking a lot, but still, actually, when we told we cannot outsource learning and everything to the school, any of you as a parent, are you getting a question that then why are we sending our children for 8 hours to school, and why are we paying so much fees?
That is a very good question. For us, we are asking ourselves daily. You don't believe.
Yeah.
Well, I ask my wife every day that why have we come so far, and why are we sending to school? Because really, we feel it is really not worth sending.
No, she asked whether you are all getting a question. I think she has some comments to make on self.
No, I just asked because this will lead to that question naturally. So I don't have any direct answer or solution to that because I work in a school. I depend on a school for my everything, money and everything. So I want everybody to send their children to school, but can we have a so I think whenever we get a chance as a parents to interact with the school in PTMs and all, we should have a meaningful conversation saying many things, whether it is required, whether the school time can be reduced, whether children can spend more time with the parents, maybe in school. And along with that, we have the challenges saying many of them are working, both are working, and they cannot give so much time. How do we manage such children if they want to be in the school? So it is actually a never-ending conversation, and maybe it has to be explored once in a month, every week, with more conversations. Thank you.
Yeah, super. Vijay, you want to say something? Yours will be the final statement. Yeah, you have to unmute yourself.
I want to ask, because Ashwini is actively, involved in school, she's being a teacher. as a parent, like I'm not talking other days and all this. I'm talking, pertaining to the current situation, pandemic. Uh, how important to send a child to the school during this situation? How do you suggest? What do you suggest?
See, I will respond here. Of course, physical safety of the child and physical well-being of the child, we have to all take responsibility. Just as everybody is following lockdown and all, we'll have to follow that. Till the time government makes it clear that schools can open, that question doesn't arise. Once that question opens also, the government may decide we'll open the school, but we may have concerns. Why will I send my child to school? Because corona is still there, this virus is still hanging. That is a point where probably we will have to inquire whether I really want to send the child based on safety and things like that. So there, the fundamental question again, see this panic, whether corona or no corona, we all live on a panic, on an implied panic about life. Something is going to happen, right? There is a beautiful book called Something Happened. Something Happened. It's a novel by the same author who has written this Catch-22. In this Something Happened, there is a character called as Bob Bob. This Bob goes to the office with the idea that everybody is talking something behind him and they are plotting against his life. He gets into this psychological panic. So whether corona or no corona, we all have some amount of panic. Some of the panics we have conditioned to subdue it. For example, suppose I get a sudden fear that who knows, I am sending my child in the bus. What may happen to the bus? Nowadays, you don't know what's the traffic like. So this panic is something that we'll have to live with, we'll live with. At the same time, we'll have to take a very intensely thought personal decision, right? So even I have the same question. Will I send my child with so many children in the bus and all when corona is hanging around? It's a question that we'll have to deal with at a very personal level. Yeah. And as more and more people start going to school, okay, I will feel nothing is happening. Let me also send my child to school, or I may send directly. It's something that we'll all have to take a call.
Israel, thought like this only, and they opened school. I think I shared article with you also, with Mr. Shiva also.
Yeah.
Within 2 weeks or 2 months, 256 children got infected.
In Israel?
Yes, really. And they forced to shut down again.
Yeah. So for all his mother's attention now.
Actually, one thing I want to add here is actually I wanted also to tell the same point what Jagdish told, that anxiety is always there for us, but different aspects of it. Now it is corona, but it is there in the background for everything. So it is getting expressed. That is one thing.
We'll ask Pranav. Pranav has come. Ashwini, we'll ask Pranav. Pranav. Hello, Pranav, participate, Pranav. We want you. Pranav, we were talking about school and all. You are going to grade 7 now? Huh?
It is mute. They are in mute.
Okay, yeah, I will unmute
It is in mute.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I am going to 7th.
7th standard, no? Now, we were discussing last question, Pranav, whether it is good to send our children to school now. Suppose school opens now, would you like to go?
If looking at the circumstances, I would tell you, looking at how many cases are there in the world.
So you are still undecided, right?
Yes.
So
okay, I just wanted to make a point here. Yeah, very well said, Pranav. Actually, he will see the situation and then decide. Very well said. Okay, actually, this thing what Sadhguru, once I was listening to him, so he told that wherever the war happens or some crime happens, the media will make sure that the blood spills in your bedroom.
Something like that, yeah.
It is spilled in your bedroom. So we are bombarded with so much of information. I think tracking corona so much in intense is not required, and our children know how to handle themselves. So yes, we need to have a concern, but not phobia about anything.
That's right.
So we need to actually stop listening to so many of the things about corona articles, everything. We just have to know how the cases are increasing and what precaution I have to take. That itself will take care. Not getting too much into it and creating phobia for ourselves.
I think we are 12:08. We'll stop here. Thank you so much for being, right? Vijay, thanks for your generating
Thank you.
conversation. Thank you, Sushma, for joining. Ravi,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sure. Shiva, thank you so much for raising very pertinent questions. Ravi, idanalla. Ashwini, super. Ashwini did a great thing. Ashok, thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us
Thank
from
you.
Maldives.
Yeah, imagine you.
Thanks, Arun. Thanks. Abhi Tavre, thank you so much. Shankar, Shobha, avre ellargu thank you. We'll catch up again.
Yes.
Right? See you, Appa.
Valuable input ಸಿಕ್ತು.
Huh?
Enjoyed it.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Wow.